Hello, Rob White here with OnClarity. I would like to welcome you to the fourth video segment in the Getting Started video session. You can pause the training video at any time to try these settings on your own computer. So from the home page, let's select the Settings tab at the top, and then we're going to select the Preferences, and then select Photographs, since that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before starting, I'd like to remind you about the display tooltips. In the previous sessions, remember there's a little cloud here on each page. If you want the tips to be turned on, just click it, the red X will go away, and now whenever I place my cursor over one of these fields, it's going to tell you what each of these fields does. For the purposes of the training, we're going to turn this off so it doesn't get in the way, but it's good to have there as you go through learning the program. And you can turn that off at any time. Managing photos normally requires additional software to resize, to rotate, crop, enhance, or to annotate photos. Within Interspec software, all this functionality is built into the application to simplify the process. In this session, we're going to discuss some of the features in the video, but we'll talk about the photos, the global photos, adding photos to the report in another video session. So the first item under the general is the bevel style. In bevel style, all we're doing is enhancing the photo a little bit. We're going to put a border around it if that's something that you would like in your pictures. No matter what your preference is set to, you'll be able to change that when you edit the photo itself within the report. So right now this one's set to none. I can make my default either round or square. We're going to leave this set to none, and let's go take a look at a picture in the report. Go back to home, and I'm going to go ahead and select an existing report. And I'm going to select photos. You'll notice at the top you have two photos when the photos tab comes up. The first one is going to be the global photos. Those are the photos that you have put in that are stationary all the time, and you can assign these to comments. To the right, you'll see another photos, and these are the pictures that you will take, and when you upload them, this is where they're going to be at. So if I want to turn bevel on, I can double-click the picture. It's going to bring it up into a bigger picture for you. And you have two buttons, two green buttons. The first one can put a square bevel on it, and the next one puts a round bevel. Not a whole lot of difference between these. So let's click on it, and you'll see that the picture changed. The outer edges of it changed to a beveled. And if I do square, and it leaves the bevel somewhat, but puts a square border around the picture. So you have these options. So no matter what your preference is set to, I can come back and change it here. So let's go back to settings. The next item is multiple photo mode. You'll notice that I have this set to all. Multiple photo mode is if I take multiple pictures within my camera time variance. My camera time variance right now is set to 20 seconds. So within 20 seconds, if I have taken multiple photos and I have this set to all, and I issue a voice tag or a photo tag for my comment, then all pictures that I took within this 20 seconds are going to get placed underneath that comment in that photo tag. The other option is to only take the last photo. And let's say I took multiple photos because I didn't have the camera set right. It will take the last picture within that time sync. You have to watch your camera time variance. This is the longer that you have this set, you might run into issues where you're taking pictures of different problems and you are within this time sync, then those pictures may not go with the right comments. So it's best to keep this somewhere between 10 to 20 seconds. Just keep in mind, as soon as you issue that voice command to add issue photo or add comment photo, you snap your picture. You normally snap your picture and then issue the command. So let's see what happens with the multiple photo mode if I have that set to default. So let's go to Home. I have a new inspection here that I've started. And we're going to select the room exterior. Now I'm going to try to do this with voice. Sometimes, because I'm working through two different programs, this may not work as well, or it picks up, erroneous comments that I'm trying to make, so we'll see how this goes. First, I'm going to turn my voice on. Begin voice inspection. Current room. Select item doors. Add comment. Caulk exterior door jambs. Room is entry. Stop voice inspection. Okay, I have stopped the program until I can take my pictures and then issue my voice tag. Begin voice inspection. Add issue photo. Stop voice inspection. Alright, so what I've done is I've taken a couple of test pictures, and now we're going to upload those. We're going to connect the camera to the computer. Now you'll see the program detected that a camera was connected, so we're going to say yes. And I'm going to select both pictures, and again we do that by first clicking on the first one. We hold the shift key down, hit the next one. So no matter if I've got 200 pictures, I select the first one, go to the bottom, hold the shift key, right click or left click on it, and that's going to select all the pictures. And then we say get pictures. So if I come and look at my photos, you'll notice I have two photos. And you'll also see that I have two green plus signs on each of these photos. And what that says is my camera was synced to my computer time. So when I did my add photo tag here, it has a timestamp on it, and that timestamp is within 20 seconds of these two pictures. So to auto insert these pictures, I select the first one and select auto insert. And now both pictures are in with my comment. Pretty simple, and again, if I had had 50 pictures in my list there, once I selected the first one and did auto insert, it's going to run through the entire report, putting those pictures with each of the photo tags that I had called in during my inspection. So I don't have to manually go through and select each one. It will grab all of them that have that plus green mark on it and auto insert them. Now, normally what you'll want to do, because sometimes your camera, if it's not, because the cameras do not have a second slot on them, they only normally have the hour and minute, it may not be synced exactly with your computer. And so if you want to check that, you can click on a picture, and down here on the lower left you'll see a button that's called Photo Tags. If you click on Photo Tags, it's going to tell you here how many pictures are synchronized that you've taken with a photo tag. Now, because I've already inserted these, it's set to 0. If I had looked at this before, it would have said 100% because I had a plus green on each of the pictures. If you only see 80% here, then you can take and change the time by increasing it by 1 second every time you click this button, or decrease it. So, and you'll see your percentage change. If you start increasing it and the percentage goes down, then stop and start taking the seconds away. You should see it increase until you get to 100%. You may only get to 95, maybe 98%, depends on, maybe you were a little slow in taking your picture and doing the command to add the photo tag. So you'll want to adjust that to get the highest percentage, then click OK, select the picture, and do the auto insert. So we've given you many options here to help correct the things if it's not exactly right. So let's go back to settings. Select our photos. So that's how we do the multiple photos. Comes in handy. Default size. Default is going to be how many pictures do you want to show on a line underneath your comment. If you do small, you can get 3 pictures across the page. If you do medium, I can get 2 pictures across the page. And if I do large, you'll have 1 picture. The default position is where do you want your first picture positioned on when you auto insert. I set mine to the left. If you're doing 1 picture, you may want to center it. I haven't seen too many people that actually want to do it to the right side. Let's go back and we'll take a look at the default sizes. I'll go ahead and set this to small. We'll pull our inspection back up again. And I'm just going to go grab some photos. I'm going to add some photos from a file that I have. Okay, let's just grab 3 of these. Now, I will not be able to auto-insert these. I'm going to manually insert them. So I click on the picture and say Insert. To put the next one in, I'm going to click on the picture in my report first, then select Photos, select the next picture, and say Insert. Click on the picture, select my next one, and insert. So with it set to small, I can get 3 pictures across the page. If I select it to medium, I'm going to go ahead and remove these. And we'll add them back in. So now when I insert, my picture's a little bit larger. Again, I'm going to click on the picture. What that does is it puts a border around so it knows that the next picture is going to go to the right. So now I have 2 pictures per page. And this is something you will have to play with. Print a report out, see how it looks to you. The little bit larger picture, you get a little bit more detail. Let's go back to settings, photos. The summary pictures or summary photos, Interspect also produces a summary report. I normally do not send summary reports to my clients. I'll send a summary report to the agent because the agents don't want to see the entire report all the time, so we just produce a summary report. If I want photos included with that, then on the summary photos, I have this set to used, which means I'm only going to include the pictures I used in the report. Now, some inspectors take photos of everything in the home, and it's more for reference as to what was going on. They don't include all of those within the report. When you upload, it's going to upload all of those, and maybe you don't use them all. So you don't want those in a summary report. But anyway, we've given you the option of doing all or just the used photos. And if you annotated pictures, if you check the box, your summary annotations will be included in the photos. There's a checkbox here that says keep photos with the previous photos or previous comments, so that if you've done a comment, let's say your report on that page is getting near the end of the page and you don't want to split your comment away from your photos, if you check this box, then it's going to go to the next page and add your comment and photos and keep them all together. Gutter space. Gutter space is the amount of space that you put between each photo. Let's go back and take a look. You'll notice in between the pictures that I've got a space, and this is the gutter space. How much space do you want between them? If you set that to 0, then what happens is the pictures will tend to run together. So I'm going to delete these again, and we'll come back and re-add them. And now you'll see my gutter space is gone. My pictures are run together. Doesn't look as good. Again, that's everybody has different ways of looking at things, so we've given you that option of trying to create a report the way you want things to look. Again, your camera time variance. This is how much time that you want to allow for you to take a picture and issue your comments. We talked about the default position. All right, for picture annotation, we have shapes and we have arrows and we have text that you can add to the pictures. And you can highlight them also. So we've given you means here to change colors, maybe do transparencies on your background colors, your reference fonts. If you're going to add text, we've given you the means to use whatever font that you want, whatever size that you want. All of these are customizable by you. You can add shadows to the picture. So let's go take a look at annotating. And you'll see here that I've got the background for the shapes transparent so that the picture will come through. I've got it set to red. I have my arrows set to red. A border width on my arrows, just how wide that I want it. My text, I have it set to yellow. So if I bring up a photo and I want to annotate it, I double click the photo and I can add circles. So if I click on the circle, you'll notice that my cursor changed to a plus sign. I now hold the left button down and drag, and I can make the circle any size that I want, elliptical, round. And once I let go, if I click on it, I can also now move this anywhere I want to. And because I'm set to transparent, you'll notice that the picture comes through. If I take away the background transparency, or set background color to red. Now I lose my picture. By clicking background transparent, I bring it back. The width, again, is defined by you and your preferences. How wide of that band do I want the circle to be? You can make it very narrow, very wide, and these are things that you'll just have to play with to see what works best for you. If I want to give this a reference number, I can right-click and say Add Reference. Because this is the first annotation I've done, it's going to assign it a number 1 reference. And you may address it by reference number. Again, up to you. Don't have to use these. I can do a square box or a rectangular box. And again, if I add reference, I now have a reference number 2. My arrows, if I click on the down arrow here, it's going to give you how your arrows are going to look when you bring them into the picture. So I have an up arrow, down arrow, left and right. So if I want a right arrow, I click on it, and I start at the point of the arrow and drag away. And again, I can right-click this, add a reference, and I'm now at number 3. And I can come in, and it's not in the right position. I can move it around. So a lot of options here of what you can do. I've also got a highlighter, and my color is set to yellow. So I can take it and maybe highlight, just drag it back and forth and highlight whatever I want in the picture. And then I have a text box. I open up my text box. So many features here, and if I want to shrink this box down, I can click on it and just drag the borders to any size that I want. And I can also move it around. If your picture came out maybe a little dark, you have a means to adjust the brightness. I can increase, or I can decrease. I can increase the contrast or decrease the contrast. Maybe I want to, maybe the picture I took was of more of an area than I wanted. I can crop the picture. So I can select my crop tool here. So I use my selection box here to outline the area that I want to crop. And then I press my crop button. And now my picture has been reduced to just that area that I selected. If I've messed up, I can say cancel and go back and do it again. So many features here within, that you can set and play with. These are things that you really don't have to do right off the bat trying to get your program up and running. The final tab under Preferences in the Getting Started series is the Email tab. The Email tab is whether or not you're going to use your local client to send out your email, and that would be like if you're running Outlook on your desktop, or if you're going to use the server, and that's going to be who your service provider is. So to set this up, you will need to know what your outgoing server names are, what your outgoing ports are, whether it requires SSL or not. If you have Outlook installed and you want to just use Outlook, then you can select your local client. It will use your mail program. Now, if you use the local client, the mail program has to be up and running before your reports will be sent. If it's not up and running and you send your report out through Introspect, they're going to sit in the output queue until you start your mail program. Email templates. So before you can use your email, you have to set the email template up. So on the left side of the screen, you're going to see an Email Templates tab. Select that. The email template is what message do you want to send when you send your report out. Here I've got a buyer template. I've also got a realtor template because I send the reports or the summaries to two different people. I don't want everybody getting the same message. So for my buyer template, when you create a new one in your program, you're not going to see anything here. You would click Add. And when I say Add, it's going to say New Email Template. To the right of that, you're going to see Email Template Name. Here you would put in what you want to call it. And since I've already got a buyer template here, we're going to call this one Buyer Template Test. So I have now created a new template. Now you'll notice that there's nothing here. This is where you're going to add your message. What I'm going to do is go ahead and copy this one, and we're going to go over it. So I've added my message to the template, and this again is for my buyer. Within the message, I can add report fields that it will fill in from the order form that I did for that buyer. So here off to the left, you're going to see a tab that says Report Fields. From this report fields, I can select any one of these items and put it in the text here. So I'm going to erase this so we can re-add it. So instead of me manually typing this every time I send a report out, I want this filled out automatically. So I'm going to go over to my report field, and I'm going to grab my client's first and last name, select it, place my cursor in the area that I want it to go, and say Insert. So I have client's first name, and you may want to address it by first name, or I might want to say, Dear Mr. and Mrs. and just put their last name in. Now this may not work for everybody because everybody's not married. But again, you have the option of doing whatever you want here. And then in my message here, you'll notice that I've got, at your request, a visual inspection of, and I've got the property address. So instead of me keying the address in every time, I've included that in my message. So it's going to pull this information from the order form and plug it into my message that I'm sending to my client. You can also pull in the inspector's name, and maybe they have a license number. Maybe multiple people would be using this. If you're the only one using it, then you can just remove this and add your own name to it. So very flexible, and we have quite a few of the report fields that you can select from to create your email message. So let's go see how this works. We talked about binders earlier. You create your binders. I've got a report binder, I have a summary binder, and I've got a paid invoice binder. So each of these has different items listed that will get emailed out. So let's go back to the inspection. And let's say I have my report finished. I bring up my binder, and you notice I have my inspection report, invoice, and in Texas there's a OPI form that has to go out. I can either save this and create a report and save it to my hard drive, or I can email it automatically from here. So if I click on email, so when I click on email, it's going to generate the report. And now here's my message. Because I put my name as the buyer, it automatically included Rob. I have the address of the street. And down at the bottom, because I'm the inspector, it plugged in my name, my license number. So to send it to my client, I'm going to say click on my client, and then here in the middle is a tab called Email Templates. I want to use the buyer template, and I can apply that, or if I want to change it, and that's what came up default, if I want to change it and send this to my realtor, I can click Realtor Template, apply it, and now you'll see it changed to my realtor template. And instead of sending this to the client, I would send it to the buyer's agent. I can also send a copy to myself. Very flexible in what you want to do and how you want to set things up. So as you can see, Introspect Voice is giving you many different options to customize the software for how you do an inspection and how you would like your reports to look. Well, this concludes the final video in the Getting Started series on setting your preferences in the desktop module. Please keep checking for the new how-to videos. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to submit a service ticket through the website or give us a call at 800-975-3017 for support. Thank you, and look forward to seeing you on the next video session.